As Ron mentioned, unfortunately, Andrew Hutchinson is unwell and unable to attend, so you have me in his place. So I'm the Acting General Manager of the Critical Minerals Facilitation Office. Good afternoon, and thank you for the opportunity to present. What I would like to be able to do today is just to take you through briefly a sense of Australia as a destination for investment, to also provide you with an update on our recent critical minerals strategy, which was released by the government, and to cover off on some key government initiatives that have recently been announced, and then also to talk briefly about specifically some resources that we have in Australia which will feed into batteries. So Australia is considered a preferred destination for investment from a number of countries. We have a strong market offering. We have globally significant deposits. We have a highly skilled resources sector. We're very well known for our mining and processing skills. We're a very stable investment climate and a very stable political environment. We have very strong labour laws which feed into very strong credentials for Australia in terms of ESG credentials. And we're a trusted strategic partner for a number of countries. We're very keen to support our friends and partners in the region at various points along the supply chains. And we have proven ourselves as a provider of a number of resources such as coal, LNG, iron ore, through our long-standing partnership with Korea and others. We're committed to our existing work with the International Organisation of Standardisation, and that's demonstrated by our leadership in the ISO Strategic Advisory Group, which is looking at stronger ESG compliance and allowing us to create a competitive edge for countries that adhere to these higher standards. Australia's revised critical minerals strategy, which I'll come to in a moment, has been developed not only to reflect the demand opportunities that we currently have facing us, but also to align with our strategic partners, in particular Korea. The Australian government is very committed to developing the Australian critical minerals sector, as well as addressing supply chain concentration. In March 2022, the government released an updated critical minerals strategy, and it sets out a number of objectives and actions for expanding Australia's critical minerals sector, but also expanding our downstream processing capability to help meet future demands. It sets out a vision for Australia to be the centre of meeting growing demand for future crucial technologies such as automotive, telecommunications, defence, aerospace, and of course for low emissions targets. Continuing to develop and diversify our resources sector strengthens and future-proofs Australia's economy, and it delivers jobs and growth for Australia. But as I mentioned, it also allows us to partner with our strategic international counterparts. The strategy is underpinned by the vision is underpinned by three key objectives. And to deliver that, we are committed to de-risking projects at all stages of the supply chain, to attract private sector investment, and to create an enabling environment for Australian critical minerals projects to thrive. Australia is obviously blessed with an abundance of natural critical minerals. We're well known for this, such as lithium, rare earths and graphite. Securing investment and commercial offtake will be crucial for Australia to develop this sector. Recent government initiatives that have been announced include a $2 billion critical minerals facility. This provides loans to advanced critical minerals projects. The government announced a $1.25 billion loan to Iluka Resources, a rare earth separation company. Also, $185 million to Renascor Resources and a US $35 million loan to EcoGraf, who I understand will be presenting later on. The government also recently committed just under $50 million to 6 companies under a grant scheme as part of a $200 million Critical Minerals Accelerator initiative. These grants are designed to help strategic projects that are at their early and mid-stage of their project development. Successful grant recipients just announced include critical minerals such as cobalt, graphite, high purity alumina, tungsten, tantalum and vanadium. And that will help embed Australia in a strategic supply chain for crucial technologies such as lithium-ion and vanadium flow batteries. These initiatives send a very strong signal to the market about Australia's commitment to backing the critical minerals sector. Building international partnerships is essential for us to address the global concentration in critical mineral supply chains. We can't do this alone. Australia has been working for a very long time with a number of key strategic partners, including the Republic of Korea. And as mentioned earlier, there was the signing of the MOU, a high-level delegation sent to Australia, and we recently held a working group meeting to discuss areas of collaboration between the two countries. Australia is very impressed by the amount of investment that is already occurring in this sector by Korean companies. And we would like to continue to see that investment flow. As I mentioned briefly, we are very keen to develop sovereign capability within Australia. And so another recent government initiative was a $500 million investment into an R&D centre, which will bring together key scientific expertise across Australia's scientific agencies, working with industry and also working with universities and other research centres. And we do think that the area of R&D might be a suitable area for continued collaboration between our two countries. When the government released its new critical minerals strategy, we also updated our critical minerals list and added high purity alumina and silicon to the list. And this is reflecting of the importance, again, for these particular critical minerals as well as our existing ones, which will be very important in areas of electrification technologies and semiconductors. Turning to supply chain concentration, specifically relating to batteries, as we can see here by this slide, there are a number of choke points along the battery supply chain, and the fact that there is dominant players all along that particular supply chain. Our data indicates to us that 100% of spherical graphite production, which is a key component in lithium-ion batteries, where current processes have a significantly detrimental impact on workers and the environment. A key question for governments is to how do we collectively support the development of new supply chains. As I mentioned, we have a very strong mining sector. We're very keen to develop our downstream processing capability, and we feel that this makes us an excellent partner with Korea in advanced battery manufacturing. I would like to now just turn to key critical minerals that are and discuss Australia's supply and capability in this particular area. The first one obviously is lithium. Australia is the biggest lithium producer in the world, and we accounted for over 49% of global production in 2021. Moreover, as I mentioned, we're very keen to develop our downstream capability in onshore processing, and an area that we would really like to work again with Korea on. Graphite is the second one that I would just like to highlight, and this is obviously very important for the manufacturing of lithium anodes for lithium-ion batteries. Our projects offer competitive advantage over our major producers. For instance, one of the advanced projects integrates a graphite mine and a purified spherical graphite production facility, which allows businesses to secure input from reliable jurisdictions such as Australia. Another critical mineral that Australia has high levels of reserves in, obviously, is cobalt. 67% of the world's cobalt is sourced from one single location. We're very well placed to step up and be a viable alternative for creating secure and resilient supply chains in this area. We have the second largest cobalt reserves in the world, and our government is very committed to supporting cobalt projects. Lastly, nickel. Again, Australia has the largest reserves of nickel in the world, and obviously nickel is closely related to cobalt in the making of batteries. Again, as I mentioned, we rate number one in the amount of nickel reserves. And a lot of our nickel projects are already supported in terms of letters of support by one of our government financing agencies, and also through having major project status. Okay, I will leave it there, and I believe we'll be having questions later at the end of all the sessions. Thank you.
Thank you,